Friends that would, you should include them. Tell them to tune in and get ready to move the needle. To monopolize so much talent should be illegal. Welcome to the check down, where we bout to check now for upcoming events, opinions, and insight round, sports and entertainment. Jump in or pipe down. Welcome to the check down, to the check down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the check down. It's the Orange Zone here, GHSA playoffs. I don't know, why did that just end like that, man?
Welcome to the check
we can't end that like that. We got a beat going right there. I got Alex and Craig in the house. Alex and Craig, how y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing great tonight, Bo. Thank you for asking. How are you, Craig?
I would much rather be coaching tonight.
I know you would, buddy. And that's the nice thing about it. Everybody has that opportunity to have that. So, I mean, it's interesting to say the least. So, we'll see how bad all this kind of plays out here. I say how bad it all plays out. I mean, I'm trying to be positive. It's been one of those ones where, I get all these people like, hey, man, let's do this, this, and this. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to work real well. We got a lot of exciting games here. And when I say that, the first one we have Mount Perrin Christian Eagles versus Eagles Landing Christian Academy Chargers. Gentlemen, talk to me a little bit about how you feel about that game.
Well, there was an explosion play early in the game for Mount Perrin.
Yeah, because, I mean, I have that game live for you right now, and then I've switched it over to South Atlanta. So, I mean, it gives that. We're gonna spend the next 15, 20 minutes here on social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, talking a little bit about high school football in general. And then we're going to say, hey, if you want to watch these games that we're going to jump in and out here in the red zone, go into NFSH, that's the National Federation of High School Sports, and join in with that because we're streaming 9 games tonight. So Mount Perrin Christian and Elka, Alex and Craig, take it away. Talk a little bit about this game.
Yeah, Elka, I mean, they're coming in. They're the Team 2 in Region 5. They're champs from 15 to 19, so they've got a pedigree of championship potential when they've been playing in 1A private. But Mount Perrin, like you said, had that big explosion play, so like you can catch them off guard. But I still think Elka will end up taking it in the long run over the course of the 48 minutes.
Craig, your thoughts?
That's what I would think would happen. I always this is going to sound funny, but if I was a higher seed, which I'm assuming Elka is by being the 2 seed, they're playing a 3 seed. It didn't hurt my.
Correct. Yes.
It didn't hurt my feelings if they scored first, because I always felt like we were going to score, and score a lot. But I just wanted everybody to get that little bit of a wake up call that hey, we got to play, and so I'm sure Elka will respond in tune.
Okay, I would agree with you on that one. Let's talk a little bit about where we're at right now with. Hateville Charter versus Stockbridge. That's an interesting matchup here. We'll throw that up on the screen here. Hateville Charter versus the Stockbridge Tigers. How do you feel about that? Craig, you get the first opportunity to kind of bring in on that part. That's 4A ball, correct?
It is, and I will never, count out Hateville because they play a monstrous schedule. And they make
a point of playing a monstrous
Yes,
schedule.
they do it for this reason right here.
Yeah.
They're not going to be scared playing Stockbridge. I know Stockbridge has had a pretty good season, and they are, they've been a perennial playoff team, so they're used to being there. Should be a heck of a football game.
I definitely would think it would be across the board on that part. Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Craig was saying, it's hard to count out Stockbridge, though, too. It being a Henry County guy, they've just been so strong for the last decade and a half, it feels like. I mean, and this year especially, like Craig said, they've had a really good year. They've been smoking, folks. They're 42-6 average score differential in their region play. They've won 5 games by 40+, and they've had less than 10 points scored against them in 5 games. And their only losses are to Colquitt and Doherty. Colquitt, one of the best teams in the state, and Doherty is only 8-2.
They're just only 8-2.
Pretty good too.
That's not too bad on that part.
Stockbridge is a team. I think when you look at the 4A brackets, I think Stockbridge is one of those teams that conceivably could win it all.
All right, let's go on to Hampton Hornets versus the Holy Innocents Golden Bears. Look about that right now. That's a 4A matchup here. Talk to me a little bit about that. Alex, go ahead.
Well, I think this one's going to go Holy Innocents' way. Hampton had a really good season this year. They had to kind of fight their way into the playoffs and have a little bit of help there at the end of the season. Woodland lost and Hampton won in the final week that got Hampton into the playoffs. But Holy Innocent, one of the things that jumps out to me is they lost to Pace 17-20, just a 3-point game. And Pace beat Hampton 33-7, so a much different game that Pace played. They beat them both, but they played Holy Innocents a lot closer, so I think that might give Holy Innocents at home a little bit of an edge.
Craig, your thoughts?
Well, I got the opportunity to play Hampton in a scrimmage this year, and it did not go well for us. But athletes all over the field, but you're playing a different beast when you look at what Holy Innocents does on offense, and you're going to have everything covered because – you know, it's the old thing. You have to play responsibilities on defense. And if you show me a defense that doesn't play responsibilities, I'll show you a bad defense. So, you know, that should be one of the things that happens every week. But the option is just different. I mean, it gets your eye discipline in the wrong spot. And if it does, it goes to the house.
All right, let's go on to the Lovejoy North Atlanta game. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts about that. Craig, go ahead.
It's a battle of old foes. And when I say old foes, the head coach at North Atlanta was a Mount Zion Bulldog. So he probably feels some type of way about playing Lovejoy. And not only that, North Atlanta beat Lovejoy last year at 12 Oak Stadium. So they probably have a lot of confidence going in to play him. I still think Lovejoy wins the game. They've rushed for over 600 yards in the last 2 weeks combined, so they've got the ground game going, and if they do with all those athletes, it's going to be tough to stop.
Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think in a matchup with teams this evenly matched, I usually give the coin toss to the home team, which is going to be Lovejoy tonight, being the 2 team out of Region 3. North Atlanta was the 3 team out of Region 4, so I think I give Lovejoy a slight advantage there, but it could really go either way.
Definitely agree with you on that. He did not have much to say about that there, Craig. We're not going to talk about that. We'll dig in that later. We got Westover and Spalding. That game we're still able to get in, grab onto that part. Talk to me a little bit about this matchup here, Alex.
Yeah, I like Spalding in this one. I feel like they were in a bit of a tougher region. That Region 2 and 4A was just really good top to bottom. Perry at the top, and Spalding had to fight to get that 2 spot. And they've been playing real good football all year. They lost last week, but you know, sometimes going into the playoffs, if you've got your playoff spot locked up, which Spalding did, having a loss in the last week can really help you going into the first round of the playoffs, because it shows you some things that you need to work on, and it can maybe wake up a sleeping giant. And Spalding is, you know, we had a chance to see them play against Griffin, and they've got a really strong defense, and offensively they can make some things happen with athletes all over the ball on the offensive side.
Yeah, Spalding's another team that I've had the unfortunate opportunity of playing in the last 2 years. Athletes everywhere, speed everywhere, defense that comes to play. And I think they brought just about everybody back on their defense from last year. I know they lost some people on offense, but their defense can carry them, you know, to the victory tonight. Yeah,
we watched them when they played against Griffin, and it was definitely a defensive slug out that they ended up prevailing in. And that's not a statement you hear very often over the last several years about Spalding and Griffin, with Spalding taking it. Griffin's a powerhouse every year, and Spalding is on the rise, though. And so, again, Westover, no pushovers, but I think at home Spalding is going to take care of business.
So I'm watching this Hampton Holy Innocents game, correct? That's what we're watching.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing up on the big screen right now, man. I appreciate you asking that.
And
yeah,
is Hampton the home team?
No, I think that's Whitewater and.
Oh, that is. That's what I was thinking.
Right now, you got Whitewater and Benedictine, brother. I'm all over the place, man. And we got Oglethorpe versus St. Francis. Talk to me about these two teams. I mean, we're rolling 9 games right now here, streaming live on the Score 58 National Federation of High School Sports Network. We're about to click off of social media. I just wanted to be able to say, hey, if you're interested in some high school football, join in with us and have that. If not, we're going to definitely have an orange zone going. We'll be live and in color for the next 3 hours. Hands down. Talk to me a little about St. Francis. What do you think there, Alex?
Yeah, so in this one, again, I've said it a couple of times. I think in the first round, the advantage definitely goes to the home teams. It's your 1s and 2 seeds. It's your best teams in the regions. And then St. Francis is ranked number 10 in Class 1A D1. They're 124 in the state. They're coming off of 3 straight wins. Oglethorpe's had 4 straight losses. So they're kind of on a downward slide, but that could give them a lot to play for here coming into this game against St. Francis.
And I mean,
Greg, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. At this point in time of the year, and St. Francis and Oglethorpe, it's a 2 and 3 matchup. Is that what?
4 and 1.
4 and 1. So Oglethorpe, St. Francis number 1 seed.
Yep.
So Oglethorpe's going to have to get, some donations to keep it close. But if they do, as a 1 seed that has unceremoniously been ousted in the first round by a 4 seed, the longer the game goes with it being close, the more pressure shifts to the sideline of the number 1 team because you're trying to make not just plays, you're trying to make the play.
Yep.
And that can be a bad thing for you. It puts too much stress on players because they want the thing to be big play after big play after big play.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing to consider is in high school playoffs, there really aren't very many below average teams that make it. Every now and then you'll get a 4 that sneaks in a bad region, but for the most part, you've got average to above average teams 1 through 4, and you mentioned making mistakes. Playoff teams will take advantage of mistakes when they're made. And so if St. Francis is sloppy, you got to watch out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we're going to pop into a game to begin with right now, and we're going to see if we can get into this. Right now we're having some wonderful, good old-fashioned, what do we call it, technology issues right now.
Technical difficulties?
That's, it's always a retrospective. Tomorrow we have some games here live on the National Federation of High School Sports. These are the games that we're covering. Craig, which one do you like the most?
I'm gonna say Dutchtown and Statesboro seems like it might be a slugfest.
Yeah.
Just because of the